So I don't know if this is a this is a combination of things. Shit, I don't know. I am one of those people who refuses on some level to create a script because I feel like sometimes it's a little too contrived. And I like to speak and shoot from the hip. That's kind of how I am. So that's what I'm going to attempt to do. And there are a few things I'd like to circulate and kind of pull together into this video. I've been threatening for like over a month to get back to posting. I do this maybe someone can learn something from it, but ultimately I do it to process my thoughts, and I don't know, it's kind of like a visual diary, if you will. So take what you will and leave what you don't want to, whatever, that's your business. But I find myself in a relationship, that elusive thing that I thought I would never experience. Now, one could say, well, but Coco, you've been in relationships. Well, I have been in happenstance companionships. It's about as nice as I can get with it. And what I mean by happenstance companionships is, with a companionship, there's not too much depth there. It is, you exist as long as we can keep it light and talk about whatever keeps things light, and I have fun with you. You know, there's not too much thought in that. And happenstance is I say is a underscore for the, well, you're good for me in this moment. Now, I'm not the type of person who goes for happenstance relationships, or sorry, companionships. Um, Situationships, if you will. I've never been a fan of those, but often they found me and I accepted them because on some level I felt like that's what I was worth. That's something that I want to address currently, and along with other things. So I am endeavoring to create a climate shift in how it is that I approach relationships. I, gosh, there's a lot of talk about accepting people as they are so that you can, you know, move accordingly. And you can have those relationships with people, and they can be rewarding on the levels that you can accept them from. But what if your attempt to accept people the way they are has an impact on what you accept for yourself? Can that be kind of broken apart? Like, I'll give you, for instance, a very real thing that I am overcoming. Growing up, I was taught that family is family no matter what, and they can be their own individuals, even if, but you need to embrace them on some level, even if how they exist in the world and how that they seek to connect to you somehow causes you to dim something within you, or have to shift. That's family. You need to do that. And no, nothing is like family. Family is family. I have grappled with that my entire life. Within my family, there's a lot of performative nurturing. And what do I mean by that? That is a term that I don't know if it exists for other people, but that's what I've labeled it. So performative nurturing is giving and loving and supportive in a way of like, it comes off as speaking life into someone. Um, until actions show otherwise. Or until, let's say, for instance, I have a sister, biological sister, who gives me the gifts that she wants to give me. Now, people outside would see that as, oh, well, you accepted it and their gifts. You shouldn't be picky about what it is that someone gives you. I've never been picky about what people give me. Uh, Outside of, is it a gift that you feel that it is something that I care for? Is it really a sincere gift, or is it a gift based on what you want with me or how you want to connect to me? Because at that point, if you're giving a gift and it's more based on what you enjoy and what you like and what you're seeking, that's a gift to yourself. I just happen to be a vessel of which you are gifting yourself. I'm just keeping it a buck. I am a very artistic person and I don't really like purses. So if you gift me a Coach purse and say, well, I don't believe that a woman is a woman until she has a purse. I'm a wallet person. But you give me a purse. A lot of people would say that Coach purse is the best gift. Let's keep in mind, this individual knows that I'm very artistic. Could not a coloring book and some crayons have gone farther? Could not a book of poetry have gone farther? Could not maybe a Groupon ticket to a painting class have gone further? Are your gifts really relative to the person that you are connecting to? Or is that gift something that you use as a leverage to feel a way in connection to that person? That makes a huge difference. That is part of performative nurturing. And my family, my biological family, is just ripe with it. I have been trying all of my life to figure my way around that and figure my way around how to deal with that and where it is that I feel that I get those energies and see it kind of be pushed forward. And sometimes in the ways that I have experienced that, there is also a wave of you are ungrateful because there's a problem with you being able to fully appreciate that. And that has caused me to see myself less than. I have allowed that for quite some time. And that's something that I am endeavoring to fix. That performative nurturing crops up in so many ways. And it doesn't, and I've seen some very beautiful people really perform that, and they believe that it's coming from a very genuine place, and I respect that. But it's coming from a place of where I have myself have been grappling from. I've been told, stop buying your worth by a few different people. And I've been wondering why it was so difficult for me to really hear it from them. And then it dawned on me, it's because they are too. I was like, why can I not jive with this from you? It's because I see you doing the same thing. You're just doing it in a different way. Now, buying worth, that is a real thing. That's a real thing. And one could say, wait, but you have pretty good self-esteem. So how is it that you're over here attempting to buy your worth? Well, that's the thing. I think a lot of people conflate. No, more people than not are conflating self-esteem with self-worth. Now, question is, can you have high self-esteem but low self-worth? And the answer is yep. And there's a website that I was kind of perusing and trying to answer some questions for myself. Yes, you can have high self-esteem and low self-worth. For example, you can feel good about how you are performing at school or work, especially if there is a ranking system or you're paid well, while also not genuinely accepting uh, uh, aspects, especially unchangeable ones, of yourself. At the end of the day, it's important to have high self worth and high self esteem, though it takes time to get there. If you are lacking in either area, take the time to explore those feelings. If you aren't sure where to start, or you're suffering as a result of low self-esteem or low self-worth, a mental health professional would be great. So, what I love about this page and kind of perusing, um, it basically breaks down how self-esteem is linked into intrinsically how it is that you are perceived, how you perform, and how your performances are perceived. I am seen as a hardworking individual. I am seen as generally chill. Generally, there are very, very specific situations and thought processes and lines that I am not at all chill, and that's something look. I sit with my demons at the table and I bring them to the table and tell everybody about my demons as I approach every table. So I'm not even trying to pretend, because that's not what I do. But there are a lot of ways in which I present as a certain way, and it's positive, and it gives me a sense of self-esteem, and I have garnered self-esteem from it. But what is the difference between self-worth and self-esteem? Looking at the definitions of self-worth and self-esteem, it is immediately clear that they differ. But they do. Here's the primary difference between the two. Self-worth is seen as a self-evaluation that is focused on internal beliefs and stable factors. Someone with high self-worth feels valuable and deserving or worthy of love, respect, and consideration. Self-esteem, on the other hand, refers to an individual's qualities, characteristics that are more fluid and subject to external factors such as physical appearance, accomplishments, capabilities, perceived successes, or even how it is that we appeal to others, i.e., performative nurturing. I see that a lot with women of all backgrounds, that performative nurturing. It is a part of how we are perceived, and not so much often what issues form with inside us. So where do feelings of self-worth, how do you what comes first, self-esteem or self-worth? So that's the question, right? Self-worth precedes self-esteem. Developing self-worth helps with healthy identity formation. In fact, the American Psychology Association, APA, found a positive association between positive feelings of self-worth and a high degree of self-acceptance and self-esteem, right? So low self-esteem and feelings of worthlessness are typically associated with depressive disorders such as major depressive disorder and persistent depressive disorder. So what is the root of self-worth? What are examples of self-worth? Self-worth is rooted in one's overall appraisal of their value or capability. Some examples of self-worth include security. You have a sense of control over yourself and your environment. Resilience. You're able to bounce back from difficult experiences. Character. You maintain a moral high ground and always try to do the right thing. Clear core beliefs. You adhere to character traits. You believe to be important. assertiveness, and boundaries. You set healthy boundaries in your relationships, drawing clearer lines for what people can and can't do or say to you. Self compassion. You practice kindness, understanding, and patience with yourself. Self love. You have a strong appreciation and adoration for yourself. Acceptance. You respect the process of life and your current chapter, acknowledging that everything will or can change. Formation. Identity formation. You dedicate the time and work to getting to know your true self. So I'm very happy to say that I am in the process of excuse the thump, process of uh, attaining a stable level and a healthy amount of self-worth. Am I there yet? Hell no. I'm not there yet. But I'm working into it. And I feel like for me, I can't speak for anyone else. The more with each level that I step up into self-worth, um the more esteem I have for myself, that's for sure. That's for damn sure. Because it's nice to be able to present a certain way, but when you hold a standard for yourself, it happens automatically. And people, it just kind of bleeds over to that. I struggle with connections that I have with people where I don't feel secure because I don't know who they are. Like, I've seen individuals kind of I've stepped into relationships with them, and they're one way with me and about 15 different ways with 15 other people. Now, I don't think there's anything wrong with individuals connecting in different ways with other people. But when I see a pivotal personality shift, it makes me feel insecure because I'm like, who am I dealing with and how am I supposed to relate to this? That's something that creates insecurity within me. And I have been endeavoring to kind of focus more on individuals who have a solid singular personality. Granted, I have a personality that's solid and singular, but within it, it's layers. I can appreciate that. That's no problem. It's when I see pivotal personality shifts that I kind of struggle. Resilience. You're able to bounce back from difficult experiences. I don't have a choice, to be honest with you. I don't have a choice to not be resilient. And that's about as far as I can go right there. I'm working on it. Character. You maintain a moral high ground and always try to do the right thing. That seems to be a stickler. I do very much have very strong moral beliefs. And even though it's not been said, I feel like there is oh, she thinks she's better. Oh, she's got issues too. When I ain't never said I don't have issues. Everybody has issues. But I find that there are some individuals who like to make excuses and like to give too much grace for things that really have no business having grace, especially if we seek to be a better version of ourselves. And what happens there is there is a fight. It's like, okay, I'm gonna need you to clone into this. And then when I don't, it's a problem. But I've come to the table expressing that this is not who I am. I can't do that, right? I can try, but when I try, I feel like not only do I feel like I'm not worth my skin, but I feel like those who would seek to connect to me are not worth much either. When I succumb to that mindset, and it's not love. That's not real love. That's placating. That's placating, and that's ear tickling. And I get it. It sounds rigid and judgmental, but we got to go through life judging people. Everything we do is about judging. Everything. Every day that we wake up, we are constantly judging. And that's the best way we know how to navigate our lives. And it's not even about having no dislike for anyone or anything. It's literally about where we are. And it ain't about a disrespect or trying to browbeat or nothing. If I wanted to browbeat, I could do it with the best of them. Everything that I talk about is about keeping it real about some shit. Um, I just want to be, I want to feel healed in some type of way before I close my eyes in this world. And it be the last time I do. That's my endeavor. That is my endeavor. I'm trying to undo the shit that should have never been done to me. I'm trying to undo some of this trauma that's been passed through the generations that is seated within me. And also some of the fucked up mindsets that are pervasive and passive and that allow for me to say that certain types of behavior and acceptances are okay when it's absolutely not. And we all can do better. We all, notice I am including myself. So, um, self-compassion is really difficult for me, especially when I know that I've given in to some negative choices and some negative ways that I knew wasn't great, that I knew wasn't for the betterment of people and myself included. And because it was the cowardly way out, because I wanted to be accepted and I wanted to have certain types of connections. I struggle with that. I also struggle with the fact that I know that until the day that I die, I will always be an odd woman out, no matter what group of people that a larger group, I'll say, that I am a part of. There is no intersection that I live within that I am not somehow outside of at the same time. I'm a black woman. I'm a Christian. I'm not your stereotypical black woman. I'm not your stereotypical Christian. I am pro-choice and a Christian. And there are Christians who would say, "Oh, how are you pro-choice?" And then I have my own grapples about that, but it's only a very nuanced situations. It's just, and the list goes on and on and on and on and on. So I always feel like I'm an outsider looking in several different ways. But I also take pride in that because the road less traveled, you know? Sometimes it's easier to ostracize someone who is very resolutely strong in their beliefs than it is to stand in your own and really have a higher standard for yourself and those that you engage with as well, and not make excuses for it. Um I I find myself in this place with self-worth. It's a new spot. Being in a relationship, which I didn't mention earlier. And I told y'all I was going to try to circle around and get everything that I wanted to talk about. And so I am in a relationship with this wonderful, wonderful man. A kind of relationship that I thought I would never experience. And even if it were to end tomorrow, it would still be the best relationship I've ever been in with any man. That includes whether it be platonic or whether it be romantic. And uh, I find myself struggling with the quality of I'm getting emotional. The quality of connection that he is extending and showing me. I have never met a man before who adored my strength as much as he adores my vulnerability and my yielding. I have never experienced someone who wanted to work with me. Look, we're not big ballers, shot callers, and he's not over here paying, hey, I'm throwing money at you and all that stuff. It's not even about that shit. But what he gives me, the generosity that he shows me with who he is and how he is unparalleled to anything I have ever received from any man on any level, on all levels in my entire life. And I know that I strive to be the best person that I can be and to stand in the morals that I have, regardless of how it irks, agitates, or makes others feel, because it will. That's the nature of it. It's sometimes difficult for me to really wrap my head around. Am I really worth it? Isn't that amazing? With all the work that I do and all the ways that I strive to be a better person for myself and not to purchase, to attempt to purchase worth, but to assign worth to myself, I still struggle with believing that I am worth the kind of love that this man is offering me. I was talking to a very good friend earlier today, and I told her I'm just trying to wrap my head around it. And she said, how about this? Why don't you stop trying to wrap your head around it and just allow yourself to sit in it? Because you're validating for yourself that you deserve it. Y'all, I'm fighting back tears so hard because I do not want to be ugly crying in this recording. It's amazing to me with all the work that I'm consistently doing. And work is so hard to move through. It's so difficult to believe still that I deserve and I am worth the kind of complete acceptance of all my layers. I want to tell you, I got layers. I got whole separate personalities in this bitch. And to experience someone who embraces each one with so much love equally. And it's a different thing. It hits in a different way. It's humbling. It's scary as shit. It's scary because sometimes the catastrophizing part of me wants to say, what if this happens? What if that happens? What if he's gone some point and it's out of no control of either one of us? And I'm open now. I'm open with all of this love and all of this feeling that I had cinched back because I didn't know if I was ever going to experience this. It is terrifying, honestly. But I honestly feel like had I not done a lot of the work that I have been doing, and had I not been insistent on not letting go of the things that mean the most to me and building myself up the way that I have, I wouldn't have met this amazing man. Let alone be connected to such an intimate group of wonderful individuals who, in all of their different ways, sparkle like diamonds. Like, I don't want to say diamonds because diamonds are common. They're a lot more common than people know. These individuals are not, though. I don't know. Maybe something I said taps you. Maybe it doesn't. That's between you and you. But thank you for tuning in. I hope that you attain the level of self-esteem, self-validation, self-worth that you've always dreamed of. And it's something I'm always going to be reaching towards. Happy January.